The History of the United States of America. 5-cent coin, 1990, Jefferson nickel. Front and back side story. In the world of coins, few are as quietly iconic as the United States 5-cent piece, better known as the Jefferson nickel. The 1990 version you asked about it carries a rich, fascinating history that stretches back to 1938. This small copper-nickel coin tells the story of American democracy, presidential legacy, architectural beauty, and the practical challenges of minting money for everyday use. Its design, front, obverse, showing Thomas Jefferson, and back, reverse, showing his beloved home Monticello, has remained largely unchanged for decades, making the 1990 nickel a direct link to one of the most important design competitions in U.S. mint history. Hello, friends. Welcome to Vault of Old Coins. Here, we bring you the oldest, the rarest, and the most mysterious coins from around the world. Do you want to know which coin is worth millions? Which coin is hiding one of history's biggest secrets? And which coin looks ordinary today, but could make you rich tomorrow? So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's open the Vault of Old Coins. The story begins in the 1930s. By 1937, the Buffalo nickel, also called the Indian head nickel, had been in circulation for exactly 25 years, the minimum time a coin design could legally stay the same without special approval from Congress. The Buffalo nickel, designed by James Earl Fraser, was beloved for its bold images of a Native American chief on the front and a powerful bison on the back. But it had serious problems. The high relief, raised parts of the design, made it extremely difficult and expensive to strike properly in the minting presses. The date on the coin wore off quickly with everyday use, frustrating collectors and the mint. Production was slow, and the coins often looked blurry or incomplete. The U.S. Treasury decided it was time for a change. At the same time, America wanted to honor one of its greatest founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence, was due to celebrate his 200th birth anniversary in 1943. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a big admirer of Jefferson, supported the idea of putting him on the new 5-cent coin. In January 1938, the U.S. Mint announced an open design competition, the first of its kind for a circulating coin. Any artist in the country could enter. The rules were clear. The front, obverse, must show an authentic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and the back, reverse, must depict Monticello, Jefferson's famous home near Charlottesville, Virginia. A prize of $1,000, a huge sum in those days, was offered to the winner. Out of 390 entries from artists across America, the judges picked the design by Felix Oscar Schlag on April 24, 1938. Schlag was a German-born sculptor who had immigrated to the United States in 1923. He had studied art in Germany and continued his work in Chicago and later New York. His winning entry was elegant and modern, yet respectful of history. On the obverse, front, he created a dignified left-facing profile of Jefferson, based closely on the famous 1789 marble bust by French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, which is considered one of the most accurate likenesses of Jefferson. Jefferson appears thoughtful and presidential, with his hair tied in a queue, pigtail, wearing a formal coat. Inscriptions include, "In God We Trust" on the left, "Liberty" and the year on the right, separated by a small star. The reverse, back, was even more creative in its original form. Schlag showed Monticello from a dramatic three-quarter angle, with trees and shrubs around it, giving a sense of the beautiful Virginia landscape. However, the Mint asked for changes. They wanted a straighter, more formal front view of the house so people would immediately recognize it. They removed the trees, changed the stylish lettering to a more traditional font, and added the word Monticello below the building so no one would mistake it for something else. Some early viewers even thought it looked like Fort Knox. Schlag made the revisions quickly, and his final designs were approved in July 1938. The first Jefferson nickels were struck in October and released to the public on November 15, 1938. This is exactly what you see on a 1990 nickel. The same Jefferson portrait on the front and the same straight-on view of Monticello on the back. The coin is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 5 grams, and has a smooth edge. By 1990, over 1.3 billion of these coins were minted at Philadelphia, no mint mark or P, and Denver, D, mint mark. A small number of proof versions were made in San Francisco for collectors. It replaced an impractical design, honored a national hero, and celebrated Jefferson's vision of American independence and architecture. Monticello itself is a masterpiece. Jefferson designed and rebuilt it over 40 years as a symbol of Enlightenment ideals, with its dome, columns, and gardens reflecting his love of classical architecture and innovation. He even invented some of the gadgets inside. In 1990, the United States Mint produced an enormous number of these 5-cent coins. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P or no mint mark, struck 661,636,000 pieces, while the Denver Mint, marked D, produced 663,938,503 coins. That is over 1.325 billion nickels in a single year for circulation. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint made about 3.3 million proof coins, marked S, exclusively for collectors in special proof sets. These proof versions have mirror-like surfaces and sharper details. Because so many were made, a typical worn 1990p or 1990D nickel found in your pocket change is worth exactly its face value, 5 cents. Even uncirculated examples in average condition usually sell for only 30 cents to a few dollars. However, the real excitement for collectors comes from high-grade specimens and special varieties. The most prized feature on a Jefferson nickel is called full steps, often abbreviated FS. On the reverse, back, Monticello's portico has 6 steps leading up to the entrance. In a perfect strike, all 6 steps are clearly separated and visible without blending together. Finding a 1990 nickel with full steps in high mint state grade, MS65 to MS67, is challenging because the design is difficult to strike perfectly even today. A top-grade 1990p with full steps has sold at auction for over $12 to $13 million, and a 1990D example once reached $10 million in an older sale. These are the gems that serious collectors hunt for under microscopes. There are also minor errors and varieties, double die obverses or reverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and repunched mint marks. Some of these error coins can fetch $13 to $15 million depending on how dramatic the mistake is. Unlike the famous 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of only 5 known, worth millions, or certain wartime silver nickels. On the international market, a common circulated 1990 nickel might sell for a few cents to $100, while a certified high-grade full steps example could bring $10,000 to $500,000 plus in global auctions. PCGS, NGC, Heritage, Great Collections, etc. In America or other countries, dealers might pay a large premium for uncirculated or proof